If you listen hard enough, you can hear the engines getting cranked up at Long Pond. Or that's just my stomach growling, because every time we give away a box of Frankie's Pizza, I get super hungry. I just say the word signature sauce and cheese blend. Anyways, here's the second part of my sit-down interview with motorsport journalist Dino Oberto, who brings his signature blend of wit and wisdom to racing coverage. And of course, big weekend at the Pocono Raceway as the NASCAR cars come back. The NASCAR trucks are here this weekend. So on Friday, it's the ModSpace 150 ARCA race at 4 p.m. On Saturday, Overton's 150 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. That's at 1 o'clock. And then on Sunday, the Overton's 400 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. You tell me a lot about local people who are up there. Steve Fox will be back in the ARCA race. You mentioned someone in a pit crew.
Yeah, locally, we got Steve Fox. He's ready to go with his ARCA car this weekend. Unfortunately, he had some circumstances back in June that did not allow him to take the green flag. He has been burning the midnight oil right now. So as a matter of fact, right after this show, we're heading down to his garage to do some PR work for him that he has coming up for some sponsors. He's got a great sponsor on board for this coming weekend up at Pocono. Matt Mattern Jr. from Mountaintop. He attends school down in North Carolina at the NASCAR Institute, and he has been able, through that, to be able to hook up with some NASCAR teams. He has been working with the Venerini Motorsports team. They are one of the top echelon teams in ARCA racing, and through that avenue, he has also been able to hook up with several NASCAR-related teams. He will be doing double duty this weekend, working for the Venerinis on the number 15 car in ARCA on Friday, and also on Saturday he'll be hooked up with one of the NASCAR truck teams. I'm not certain as of yet who that's going to be, but it's been a great run for this kid. He's a former champion in the factory stock division at Evergreen. His father used to race there, and his father is Matt Mattern Sr., and he's just a really great kid. Obviously, a lot of these guys, just like football, basketball, baseball, they'd love to get out there, and Kenny, they want to see themselves get into the big leagues. Sometimes that doesn't always happen. I think the beauty with racing is you can go to school, you can learn the trade, and you can still be in there and be hands-on with the sport. And this is how Matt Mattern Jr. is able to do it.
I want to ask you, there's a change of leadership at Pocono. Brandon Nagdalski moving on, helping out NASCAR, I think in a marketing kind of position. Then Nick moves up. So just talk about what's going on. You're close with everyone at the track. So
that was a surprise for everybody. I'm going to be completely honest with you. That announcement just came out last week. Ben May being named the president. Ben's a great guy. He's been there for almost 20 years. Nick, the younger brother of Brandon Nagdalski, those two guys have been there since the day they were born, so they know the ins and outs. They know every aspect of it. But it was just kind of a surprise to see Brandon pick up and say, I'm going somewhere else, and this is where it's taking me, down to Florida. He'll be working in NASCAR headquarters in Daytona Beach. Through a marketing aspect with it. As you said, Nick does take over, but I want to tell you something. Nick, anything that Brandon ever did at Pocono, Nick was right there alongside, and it's always been a family-oriented deal up there. So this transition, you won't even know it's taking place. It's going to be absolutely 100% smooth as silk. And Nick, he's a guy that likes to get out there, and he's very much hands-on. He's a racer himself. He's done local racing. He goes out and does national events through SCCA, a lot of things like that. He is the guy that actually redesigned all of the road courses up there at Pocono, and they are very interesting to say the least. But him taking over as the CEO, it should be absolutely flawless. There's not going to be any change. The big surprise, and I hope to have more information on that after this weekend, is the whole deal with Brandon and getting hooked up with NASCAR the way he has. So obviously very interesting, a bit of a surprise, but then again, everything should be business as usual.
And I mean, that's pretty neat. You always talk about these local guys, and now here's Brandon. I know running a track, that's a big-time job as well, but now all of a sudden you have someone down there in Florida with NASCAR who has local ties.
NASCAR, and first of all, NASCAR and Pocono, going back to Doc Mattioli days, he had such a bond and a relationship with Bill France Sr., Bill France Jr., and, it was through the Frances, that he was able to keep Pocono Raceway going, because back in the mid-'70s, he was ready to pack it in, and it just, things were not working out, and they told him, stick this out. We're going to work with you. We'll stay with you. By the mid-1980s, they wound up with 2 dates. NASCAR's, I mean, Pocono has gone through tremendous changes since that time, and now they've become one of the top echelon racetracks in the world, and we have it right here in our backyard. So there is a very, very tight bond between the Igdowski-Mattioli families and NASCAR themselves. So it's something that's good. I think it's going to be good for the track itself, and all of us here in Northeast PA, it should be no problem. And obviously, you're talking about this coming weekend. Kenny, I want to throw this out there. I think the truck race is going to be absolutely fantastic. Why? Because they got the stages coming up, and it's a 60-lap race, and the stages are going to be in 15-lap segments, the first two, so that is just going to be flat-out racing. I don't even know if there's going to be a strategy involved in that one, but it should be the best show of the weekend.
We'll get out there this weekend. The cars move fast. Dino Oberto moves faster, but he'll stop and he'll say hi if you recognize him here from SSPTV News or the Hazleton Standard Speaker.